if misery loves company, miserable heat keeps us in great company across the southeastern United States. You're watching Mississippi Live at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. It is hot, as if you need a meteorologist to tell you that. The entire Magnolia State sits under heat advisories. We'll talk more specifically about that here in a moment. That's one of the many factors that we are looking at as the heat builds to dangerous, even more dangerous levels over the course of the next couple of days. We already have those heat advisories for everyone. We have those extreme heat warnings for others that could also expand over the next couple of days. Cristobal has also formed out in the Atlantic. That would be the third named system of the tropical season. We'll look at where it is and another location that could be developing yet another tropical disturbance here very soon. And ice storms recovery continues in Mississippi Live News. Again, Emily, one of the things that we have talked a lot about, of course, this year will be for a while, is that recovery process.
That's true, Matt. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be stop talking about the ice storm for a very long time. Recently, ECRU has been working on their recovery. They also hit very hard in the ice storm, and now they're looking at a particular generator for a well. You can say a lot of people really learned what they need and what they don't need to be prepared for these types of events. ECRU being one of them. We'll talk about what they're looking into coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, Emily, appreciate that as we look ahead toward Mississippi Live News here in a few minutes. Our hour forecast this evening has that rain coverage limited, and that's right. It's not impossible to see an isolated shower or two this evening. Not expected to see a ton of those, but there is possibility we could have a couple out there trying to pop up. Upper 70s by later on tonight, and then back in probably the upper 70s for early tomorrow morning, a lot of spots. High temperatures today, actually up to the triple-digit point, up to 100 in Tunica, 100 degrees in the Greenville area as well. So yes, running well above what we typically expect for this time of the year for locations in the Delta. Actual temperatures, no one at 100 right now, but obviously Clarksdale, Tunica, and the Greenville area all at 99. Feels like 100 plus, but notice here, for example, that it feels hotter, say, in Columbus and Starkville there than in some spots out in the Delta. It's relatively drier air, and that is one of the factors that the next couple of days will help make the actual temperatures build and possibly leave our heat indices very similar to where they are, going up maybe a little bit, but not as much. Those extreme heat warnings in effect from basically now through Friday evening there for Coahoma, Quitman, Tallahatchie, and Tunica counties. The rest of us under those heat advisories through at least Friday evening and expected to extend in the weekend. In fact, our hottest actual temperatures will be over the weekend. And unlike last night where I was kind of picking at Gabe Maynor about that triple-digit 100-degree temperature, it's possible we could have some spots get to that threshold. I'm becoming a little bit more of a believer in that myself. Oh, you should see Caleb behind the scenes and Gabe Maynor. They're pumping the fists. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Luckily, severe weather has stayed mainly to the north and east of us. There is a limited severe weather risk there up closer to Iuka and Red Bay. As we look at Mama Justice Doppler radar, some storms back out that direction. By that direction, I mean out into Alabama. You get up here closer to, say, Walnut Grove and Pickwick Lake and locations up in the far northeast tip of Mississippi. A couple showers and thunderstorms up there. Not impossible to get a few of these slightly farther south of what we're showing here, but we just don't expect to have a ton of storms in our area for tonight. This is just thankfully, I'd say not a good setup for that. The peak severe weather risk, just to give you an example, is well up to the north, up into the Midwest, where there are plenty of thunderstorms still ongoing at this time. Tomorrow's severe weather risk to the north of us, same as we look toward your Friday. So on the wider shot here, the players, what's bringing that more active weather, of course, is going to be a frontal boundary. But again, the nearest we get to anything that resembles maybe a little bit cooler air is what? About 400 miles? Not close at all. And that means that we are going to continue to be hot. Not impossible to get a couple little showers, though. And we'll talk a lot more about this here in a couple minutes, but a couple little pop-ups possible depicted here on Futurecast out there east of Iuka, north of Cherokee by, say, around 10 o'clock toward midnight tonight. That's where that very, very limited risk for maybe a couple isolated wind gusts could end up occurring. Outside of that, we're mostly dry, not just here, but across the entire state through early tomorrow morning with only a few leftover thin high clouds to be depicted there on that perspective. So keeping it mainly dry, Possibly popping up a little shower late in the day, but most of us probably will not. From 77 at 6 a.m., we're 84 by 9. We're looking at 95, feeling like 100 by noontime, and easily feeling over the 100-degree point throughout the entirety of tomorrow afternoon and evening, and even into the nighttime period. And those temperatures do continue to build as we get closer to the weekend and go through it. Coming up, we'll be looking at just how high those will peak. But 60 seconds from now, it's Mississippi Live News with our Emily Leonard. You're watching Mississippi Live at 5. We'll be right back.
Some things just go together.
Like friends and good vibes.
The perfect ribeye with a Caribbean twist.
Shrimp tacos and a hint of lime.
Unwinding after work.
Dinner with the family.
Or date night with someone special.
Do you want it neat or on the rocks?
Mozzarella or pepper jack?
Whatever you choose.
Whoever you're with.
We'll be here.
Because we know
Together tastes better.
Dust off your favorite shotgun and sign up for the Natchez Trace Council Clay Classic. Call 662-842-2871 or visit natcheztracecouncil.org.
Friday, August 21st, don't miss the Tupelo Super Show benefiting St. Jude, featuring the legends of Memphis Wrestling. Reserve your seat right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live. I'm Emily Leonard. We have got some good news for Walnut. The TipaCare Walnut Clinic is staying open, at least for now. The hospital's board reversed its decision after an outpouring of support from the community. Check out this letter posted on Facebook. Hospital Administrator Patrick Chapman says the clinic is still losing money, but the board believes local support can turn it around. The clinic averages about 9 patients a day, and that number needs to roughly double to become financially sustainable. The board will reevaluate the clinic's finances on December 31st, giving staff and the community time to grow its patient volume. The board chairman, Ray Crawford, says it's simple. If the community uses the clinic, it'll stay open. ECRU is still working through recovery from the January ice storm. The board extended its FEMA filing deadline to October 6th. Mayor Mike Nesbitt says the big priority is a new natural gas generator for Well 2, costing anywhere from $65,000 to $70,000. Most of that covered. Nesbitt says the town only has to come up with about 12.5% of the cost, thanks to a combination of FEMA and MEMA funding. The police department, by the way, they're getting some upgrades as well. A new $12,500 record system, plus vests and computers already on order. And soon you'll be able to pay your court fines online. The board approved the new payment system. A public hearing on the town's budget set for August 17th at 5:30 that afternoon. Ah, yes, it is that time of year again. Long lines, traffic jams, and waiting. Lots and lots of waiting. Parents and kids sweating and schlepping furniture all around. It is move-in time in Starkville and Oxford. Soon, these college students will be back in class, and Mississippi's 2 biggest universities will be back in full swing. But for now, these kids are getting settled. Last fall, student enrollment at Ole Miss was about 28,000. Mississippi State sitting around 23,000. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here on Mississippi Live. I'm Emily Leonard. Have a great day.
Reserve your St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ticket by August 28th, and you'll be eligible to win the house and the bonus prize, a 2026 Polar Ranger, courtesy of Dream Day Foundation. Visit dreamhome.org or call 1-800-456-8351 to reserve your ticket today.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Laubheim.
You're watching Mississippi Live here at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon, looking down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. About as humid as any place in the state. Of course, you're right on the water as you expected. Biloxi 93, a little bit of a breeze, which is something that not many of us have. It feels like 106 degrees as of the latest time period here. So hot and downright sticky out there this afternoon. Sliding up here north to Greenwood. Checking out the Delta, and coming in at this moment in our camera there with the North Mississippi Storm Chaser is 97 for the actual temperature. Feels like 104. You'll note that measure of moisture there isn't quite as high. That does make a bit of a difference. At dew point at 70 there. Sliding up the Pontotoc, and again, partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. That reporting station looks like a Tupelo Airport, not updating, but the one is up in Iuka at this point. And we're looking there at our Farmers and Merchant Bank camera that has the basically one storm we have in the entire state. And it's right at the Mississippi-Tennessee state line up there. As we look toward Tennessee, that's where there is at least a limited severe weather risk for tonight. But again, that one is just a little bit to the east there of Pickwick Lake. Only a couple lightning strikes on that. And really, there's not much outside of that. In fact, all we really have here across North Mississippi other than that are just basically clear air returns, bugs, and things of that nature. On the wider shot here, again, high pressure down in the Gulf has been the story. What's keeping us clear? What's keeping us dry? Things more active once you get deeper out into the Atlantic. In fact, at first blush, you might not even notice it. But as we look closer there, that is now our newest tropical system that we're tracking. Of course, that would be Cristobal. Now, Cristobal is, as we're watching the tropics here, a tropical storm. The winds on this, as you can see, expected to keep it tropical storm strength, maybe actually weaken a little bit over the course of the next 24 hours or so. So this one, sometimes you might say a storm that just messes with the fish out there in the middle of the Atlantic, not something that will impact us here in the Magnolia State or anywhere in the lower 48. We are watching, though, a few other disturbances that could be more interesting. Looking down here, again, we're well to the east of the Caribbean there, but an 80% chance that this area in red there could develop into a full-fledged tropical system within the next 7 days. Get out of the way of the percentages there. Now, again, this is a long ways away, but this is that time of year where we expect these storms to get going there and then work their way well to the east, well to the west. So a lot will change on that over the next few days. We'll talk more about that at 6 o'clock. Our Gabe Maynard is going to dig into what the longer range models are showing related to that coming up at 6 o'clock. This evening, as we go beyond 7 to 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight, it's up here in the far northeast corner of the state. That's where we're most likely to see a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. It's possible that a couple of those could be heavy. And again, a non-zero chance that maybe one or two of those produces severe weather. But we're not expecting that to be the norm. That's just not an impossibility. As we go throughout overnight hours, those are out of here fairly quickly. Only a few leftover clouds by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow starting off warm. You can tell anytime we're in the upper 70s for some of these low temperatures and 80 degrees. We are primed and ready with those heat advisories, those extreme heat warnings in effect for some portions of the Delta. I mean, everybody. That doesn't allow us to really cool down much overnight. So drop-off temperature tomorrow morning, about 78 for the kids as they head to school on our IMPC school bus forecast. We're 92 by lunch and 96 the final bell. Add about 10 degrees to what it feels like, meaning it's too hot for excessive outside exertion. It's one of those days where recess tends to be shorter or the kids stay inside just because of how hot and humid it will be. Now, rainfall-wise, not expecting much, but it's a non-zero chance for a little bit of moisture tomorrow. Wider shot shows really down close to the coast. Even there, the chances aren't particularly good. But here across most of the state, only really some puffy cumulus clouds. And similar to today, that just means a ton of sunshine, and that works to kind of heat us up through the day, as Alabama has a couple storms, but we will not really see many here in Mississippi. Highs tomorrow, upper 90s up to 96 in Water Valley, 98 degrees Houston, 99 Tupelo, 98 Amory. Beyond the 100-degree point out here, Greenville for Clarksdale, both at 102 and 101 degrees. And the heat index pushing up to 112 in Clarksdale, 110 in Tunica. This is the reason why you are under one of those extreme heat warnings for tomorrow, and everybody under those heat advisories. A day where outdoor exertion should be limited if possible. And again, I'm not talking about the construction workers or the folks that have bosses that tell them they have to be out. And I'm talking to your bosses here. Ultimately, frequent water breaks and trying to cool things down, because last thing we want is, again, heat-related injury, and that is the number one weather-related killer. And in a pattern like this, that becomes an issue. Tomorrow evening, there's our one little shower trying to pop up near the Tennessee state line and a couple down closer to Meridian, but not expecting a whole lot of activity out there through tomorrow evening, as we're mostly dry again through your Thursday. Now, going into early Friday morning, you can see clouds, again, trying to come up from the south and east there, but no meaningful precipitation with any of that. Low temperatures Friday getting down to about 78 in Oxford and Grenada, 77 degrees in Water Valley, and again, still close to the 80-degree point, well above the 72 we typically expect by early Friday morning. And that, again, is a springboard for warming us up a lot by the afternoon. We have partly cloudy skies, one or two little pop-up showers out there. Not impossible, but that's the thing. We could really use some rain-cooled air. And even the projection that tends to be a little more aggressive, our strike model shows the nearest stuff is east of Meridian, out there closer to Montgomery, Alabama by Friday afternoon. And maybe in Friday evening, get a little closer, but not much. So that tells you that the heat is the story, and high temperatures, actual high temperatures up to 101 in Belzona, 102 Greenville, 101 for Starkville, for Columbus, and Macon. We're at 98 there for Tupelo. I'm going to bring in our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, and let's talk about this. Again, we are getting closer. It's not unreasonable that we do end up seeing some of those 100-degree temperatures for this weekend. I see that smirk, but
well, it's a smile, but at the same time, I don't want it. So, like, yes.
No, I know. Yeah. And for folks that didn't watch yesterday, this was a debate back and forth on this. I still am not convinced, but
we're getting closer.
But certainly, I'm getting closer. You know, it bubbles out a lot. It gets us a little drier, and that's what it typically takes. But it doesn't really matter when you look at the heat index and it's this hot. That's a problem, right?
Yeah, I think you covered it perfectly in regards to the feels like values are really the story here. While yes, triple digits, it could be near record-setting temperatures, it's going to feel anywhere from 105 to 110, whether it's a drier feeling air at 100 degrees or a little bit more moist air at 95 degrees. It's going to be right around that same feels like value, and that's really what we need to take from this and really prepare for heading into the weekend.
It is, for sure. Appreciate that, Gabe. And again, you'll talk more about the big heat wave, and especially looking toward the tropics coming up at 6 o'clock. But looking at that 7-day forecast here, it is tells a bit of the story for you right there, right? 98 Friday, 99 Saturday. Here are those triple digits on there for Sunday and Monday. Actual temperatures, 100 degrees. Yeah, the air perhaps just dry enough. But that's the thing. It almost takes dry air for us to get to 100. So we'll see right there within a degree or so of it, obviously. And the heat index will be pushing up well in excess of 100 through Sunday and Monday and the first of next week as well. So this is a true heat wave. Anytime we're at this stretch for about a week or more, I think we can use that phrase. I think sometimes it gets abused. And that's the way we're looking. It looks like we are definitely building toward that. Hey, appreciate you guys for, again, watching us all across the area there from Atala County and Corinth and Tishmingo. Hopefully you all are having a good evening here and having a good day, being safe out there. Make sure to stay hydrated and, of course, keep that Mississippi Live app handy with you wherever you go. And appreciate our sponsors here on Mississippi Live, such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and the many, many others that support us here. And what we're trying to provide, again, for you. Our next broadcast coming up at 6 o'clock, and we'll talk to our Emily Leonard here about what we have coming up with Mississippi Live News. Again, looking toward the 6 o'clock broadcast there. Emily, what you got?
Well, I have to look and see. I got a lot going on in my head these days. All right, coming up at 6. Oh, big boats are coming to Mississippi. And I know that sounds funny, but when I say big boats, I mean really big boats, and not just any boat. These are Marauder class vessels. I think I said that right. These are giant autonomous boats that are AI powered, and they are coming to Mississippi. Roger Wicker there for the announcement. A really cool deal. It's coming to South Mississippi. We'll talk about that. Also, a local food pantry got an award. They're also asking for a very specific donation. Maybe you can help them out. That's coming up at 6 o'clock.
She likes big boats and she cannot lie. We're looking for that coming up tonight at 6 p.m. Of course, looking in much more detail at that forecast, including tropical season, which is picking up steam. We're tracking the tropics tonight at 6. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live. We'll see you then.